the solution to this example. So firstly, we've got these months and years. We know we're going to use the first. So I'm going to make use of the date function. So the year is going to be over here, the months over here, and we're told to assume that it's always invoiced on the first. So you'll see we've got the 1st of January 2012. I'm going to copy that down. The next thing we asked is using a tool, so not formula in this case, but using a tool, we want to convert these. So I'm just going to highlight it, copy it. I'm just going to paste it as values in here. Now we could have used flash fill, but I'm going to use the text, the data text to columns trick. So we're going to ignore this, and over here we're going to tell it that we've been given a date, and it looks like it's day, month, year. So remember, this is what have you given it, not what you'd like it to be. So day, month, year. Let's say finish, and that's pulled through. So now we know the date of delivery and the date of invoice. How many days did it take? Because these both are valid dates now, I can say equals that minus that. And you'll see in that case it's 77. If I copy it down, you'll see it matches the suggested answers. The next step then was to work out what day of the week were these deliveries on. So we got a function in Excel called weekday, and I need to point it at a valid Excel date, and in this case I'm going to use the return type 2 because I want a Monday to be a 1 and a Sunday to be a 7, so we use a 2, and you'll see we get our days of the week. And I just want to check which are weekend and which are weekday, so I'm just going to use an if function. I'm going to say look at that cell there, is it bigger than 5? So if it's a 6 or 7, it must be a Saturday or Sunday. So I'm going to call it weekend. If it's false, weekday. When I say OK, I can double click, and I can now easily see what is a weekend, what is a weekday. Now what we're going to do is just summarize it a bit. So what we want to know is how many deliveries are on weekends and how many are on weekdays. So what I'm saying is count how many you say weekend here and how many say weekday. So the function I'm going to use is either countIf or countifs. So I'm going to use the countifs, the plural. And the criteria is going to be the word weekend. So I can either type it in or I'm going to link to there. And the range is going to be this column here. So I'm going to put it in $signs, and I'm going to say OK, and you'll see it tells me there's 101 words saying weekend, and because of the way I set it up, I should be able to copy it down, and let's just check it. So it looks like it's working. That now counts how many days say weekday, and then we just want to know the percentage of those deliveries. So I'm going to say it's equals that divided by, open brackets, that with $signs plus that with $signs, close bracket, and we get a percentage. When I copy that down, we get a percentage. So we can see most of the deliveries on weekdays. Finally, we're going to work out what is the average delivery days. So here's the days till delivery, so I'm going to use just the simple average formula. I'm just going to highlight that. Put $signs in. So we're told that the average delivery days is 55, but I'd like to know what the average delivery days is if it's a weekend, if it says weekend here. So that's an average if it's a weekend. So the function we can use is either average if or average ifs. So I'm going to use the average ifs. And what we're going to say, so generally we recommend do the criteria first. I'm going to say we want to look for weekend. What must it average? It's going to average the days till delivery. And where must it go find this weekend? In this cell here. And again, notice I put $signs everywhere. When I say OK, it gives me 52.7. So we can now easily see what the average is on weekdays, and when it comes to weekends we seem to be just a little bit quicker.